Good morning and welcome to Morning Magic Tantra Basics and the Art of Sensual Aliveness. So today I want to first just kind of warm up the body, taking some deep breaths in and just opening the shoulders up, breathing, and the other way. And taking the arm, just twisting it, opening up that shoulder. And the other way. And I'm going to twist my back around. I'm doing some neck rolls. And the other way. Twisting, breathing. And I'm going to reach up, breathe in, and then pour the energy from the universe down my body. Again, reaching up, pulling that energy, and then pulling it down the body. And then just doing whatever you need to do in this moment to just feel yummy. I like to open up my shoulders, so just pushing forward. And back. Just arriving here in our vessel, bringing our consciousness into the body. And make it feel good. That's the key. So we're making these movements feel good. So I wanted to talk about the basics of Tantra and the art of sensual aliveness. And they're so simple. These tools are so simple, and yet if we really embody them and have them down, they can affect our life on such a deep, deep level. So the first one I want to talk about is the breath. And, some people go and they explore outer space. And honestly, we could spend a lifetime exploring our breath. There is so much richness and juiciness in our breath. And, there's many, many breath techniques that we can do, which are so powerful that they can bring us into deep alternate states of consciousness so that we really experience bliss. We can release trauma, and go really deep into ourselves. I mean, I've had like full rebirthing sessions where I actually went and rebirthed myself because I had a very traumatic birth, actually. So the breath is like the one thing that is always happening from the time we are born until the time that we're dying. So it's like you take that last breath, and it's this beautiful, amazing miracle. The fact that we're breathing all the time and we don't have to even think about it. It's really something. But if we can consciously breathe, then that's where we can like come into this new level of magic. So the first tantric tool, just the most basic tool, is just being in our breath. And the more that we can be in our breath all day long, the more that we live inside of our body. So I'm just going to show you my favorite daily breath. Sometimes I've actually had people who get like triggered by me because I can do this breath all day long. I love it so much, and it just makes me feel alive in my body. And that is really the key to being sensually alive, is being alive inside of our body. So just taking a deep breath in, we're all practicing together, and holding it, and then letting it out with sound. Ah. Deep breath in. Hold the breath in. Fill your entire body with light. And exhale. Ah. One more time. Deep breath in. Really fill your entire body with this life force energy. Bring it all the way down, even into your feet, through your legs, definitely into your yoni or your lingam, your genitals, and your entire body filling, and then letting it out with sound. Ah. Ah. So the most basic tool, tantric tool for sensual aliveness, is just conscious breathing. And the second one is making sounds. So when we allow ourselves to make sounds, we open up our sensual aliveness. So if you look at vocal cords, a picture of some vocal cords, and you look at a picture of a yoni, they look the same. Like, yonis really need to make sounds. But also men making sounds too. It opens up the body when we make sounds. So let's take another breath in, and we're just gonna let it out with sound. Breathe in. And let it out with sound. Ah. So when we make sounds, and it's possible due to the people around us for us to make them sound orgasmic. This is another way for us to open up the sensual aliveness in our bodies. So again, we're going to breathe in, filling our body with light, filling our body with our own loving presence, just filling our body. And then we're going to let it out and make the sounds really orgasmic. Ah. And it just feels so good and awakens our sensuality. So again, let's breathe that energy in, fill our body with our own loving presence. And And letting it out with this beautiful orgasmic sound. Ah. Ah. And I'm already showing you what the other tool is movement. So there's both the inner movement, which is moving the energy through our bodies. So this awakens our sensuality. Part of sensuality is being tapped into the fact that we can move our energy through our bodies. And and one of my favorite quotes, which comes directly from myself, is your genitals don't want to hog your life force energy. They don't want that sexual energy just to stay there in your genitals. No, they want to share that energy through our entire bodies. And as we learn to move our sexual energy through our bodies, we open up our sensuality, our erotic body. So it's really, and also moving our body, like our outside body. So there's the moving the energy inside, and then there's also moving the whole entire body. So I've studied Mahamudra Tantra with Shanrup, and Mahamudra means the great movement, and that's like a basic fundamental key of Tantra is life is always moving. That's just the inevitable. Life is moving, life is crazy. So like getting okay with the crazy movements of life and consciously moving our bodies and our energy, and that's actually the orgasm itself is the movement. So once you start opening up the energy in your body and start being able to move it, that's when orgasm goes from like this little blip in your genitals to an entire way of being in your body, which is just an orgasmic way of being alive. So again, taking a deep breath in, and let's send that energy right down into our yoni or our lingam, just filling that area and moving that energy, moving that whole, I'm just kind of moving it, my body around, feeling my yoni, and then letting it out with sound. Ah. So those are like the really three primary keys of sensual aliveness. The primary tantric keys are breath, sound, and movement. And there's infinite ways that we can use these tools. First off, we can use them when we're feeling a lot of feelings, a lot of whatever we're going through, fear. So yesterday we talked about how to deal with our mind. I talked about how to deal with our minds when we're going through difficult times. And then how to deal with our bodies. So the body, it's like when we're going through something that's causing us trauma, fear, shame. So it's often stuck energy in the body. So if we can, rather than just going into the head, which is what oftentimes we do when we're feeling down or shame, if we go into the body, we can move the energy and actually use our sensual aliveness, our loving embodied presence to move that energy through our body so that it's not just stuck and we're just trying to run away from it. So, if we just go ahead and feel into our body, if there's any place in there that wants to be moved, and with our breath, sound, and our movement, we can move it. And as we move that energy, it's like it unsticks and can just be freed up. So, breathing in, and just where does that energy want to go right now? What wants to move inside of you? And then letting it out with sound. So again, let's pull that energy. So I'm actually pulling the energy up from my yoni or your lingam, from the genitals. Pull the energy up and bring that sexual energy, that which is your life force energy, to the place that needs the healing. Breathe it in and hold it. Saturate it and then letting it go. So I brought my energy to my shoulders, which I've given way too many massages in my life, so I tend to carry some stress in there. So you can bring your life force energy to any place in your body that is feeling stress, and then letting it go with the sound and with the movement. Of course, so we can use the orgasmic energy to move out stuck emotions, and we can also use that energy to create pleasure. So we're both moving stuck energy and cultivating pleasure at the same time. And so this is a really powerful practice of being essentially alive inside of our bodies. So we're moving stuck energy and stress, and we're cultivating pleasure simultaneously. So let's move that energy up from our sex center into the whole of our body, or any place that needs it most, and then letting it out with sound and movement. Yeah, and so then of course we can use these tools in our own self-pleasure practice when we're actually, or when we're making love with someone else. These are the tools, again, to move stuck energy that we're feeling, because sometimes we might feel stuck energy when we're making love. Sometimes we might feel stuck energy when we're, different emotions, shame, guilt, whatever it is. So if we use that energy to move through it when we're making love, or when we are self-pleasuring, and we're cultivating more pleasure, and we're cultivating a full body experience, so that our sexuality is not just inside of our sexual organ, but it's flowing through our entire bodies and opening us up and to way more pleasure than if we just keep our sexual energy inside of our yoni or lingam. So whether we're making love, Eva Clay gave an amazing talk yesterday on opening up the erotic body, and this is really what she's talking about. It's finding, this is one way, that one thing that she's talking about is finding the pleasure and keeping it, rather than letting it explode into like the full, what we think of as orgasm, the climax, keep it more at the low level and let it be inside of our body all day long. So you can use the tools of breath, sound, and movement and sensual aliveness to live your whole life. I put up a post a few days ago about flossing my teeth. I was like, yeah, let's make flossing our our teeth sexy, and be in that sensual aliveness of your entire body, whether you're making food, whether you're brushing your teeth. Like, just let that sensual aliveness flow. And this is really a key to being ecstatically alive. Using the tools of breath, sound, and movement, moving the energy in our body, breathing, and making sounds. So let's take 5 deep breaths with sounds and movements. And make it as juicy as you want, as you can, as is possible. Okay, here we go. Breathing the energy in, filling the body with your own loving presence. Hold the breath in, fill the body, and then letting it out with sound. Ah. How do you want to move? Okay, deep breath in. Fill the body with light, with love, with juiciness. Ah. Once again, deep breath in, pulling the energy, the sexual energy up from the body or from the lingam or yoni into the full body. Fill your body with that loving, sexy, yummy pleasure, especially the places that need it most. And hold your breath. And letting it out with sounds. Ah. Another deep breath in. Pull the energy up. Fill your body with your own yummy, loving presence. You can picture your body being filled with, like, I like pink turquoise light. I'm letting it out with sounds. Ah. Again, one more time, pulling that energy up our bodies, filling every cell with this juicy, yummy life force energy. And I'm letting it out with sound. Ah, movement. Ah. So that was our morning practice. I would love to hear in the group of anyone today who uses these tools. Well, whether you speak about it in the group or not, I'd love for all of us to take the time to use breath, sound, and movement throughout the day to make what could be mundane activities into a sensual experience. So, how can we yumify our lives? How can we make our bodies more alive, ecstatically alive? Um, so, whatever you're doing, just bring breath, sound, and movement to the activity, and you automatically make it an erotic experience. And this is how we move in from just living a mundane, like normal in our heads life to living a more juicy, yummy, sensually alive, orgasmic life. And feel delicious. And no matter what we have coming up for us, we have the tools to move stuck energy and bring orgasm even to our emotions, to our sensations. And yeah, so thank you all so much for being here. Today we have an amazing day with Matt Sturm. He's going to be on at 11 Pacific, and he is going to be talking about a new paradigm for masculine sexuality, which I'm really excited about because Matt is really phenomenal. And then we have Queen Lauren Emily Searles, who's going to be talking about, I can't remember exactly the name, it's embodied presence and how to cultivate and live with embodied presence. So I'm excited for these two beautiful beings. She's on at 1 o'clock. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining in to us creating a more juicy, yummy, sensually alive planet where we get to live the orgasmic life that we're all calling in. And no matter what is happening in the outside world, we know that we are cultivating orgasm. And yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Mwah. Sending you all love, and see you at 11.